All right, we're live.
Okay.
Good deal. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Night Live. Got a great guest tonight. Got a Jun Shoji, and he is a big Swimbait master from Japan. He's from Japan.
I'm in Japan.
You're in Japan, right? So what? This kind of blew me the way the other night we were talking. You
Yeah.
guys are a day ahead of us. What time is it, and what day is it over there right now?
It's Tuesday and it's 10:30 in the morning right now.
So this is Tuesday morning live in Japan.
In Japan, yeah. So everybody's working right now.
That's really cool. Yeah, that took me a minute to figure all that out.
Yeah.
And we have now went international.
We're now in international. This is
International,
awesome.
yeah. Oh, I got it on YouTube now.
Cool. Well, let me say hi to all the folks that are chiming in here. We got Perry. Good to see you in here. Sandra, Stephanie. We got to watch Stephanie. Stephanie has won she's won 4 of our live stream giveaways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's really good. But she's kind of in a drought right now. She's due for a comeback. She's the last 3 or 4. Got Doug from Trieve.
Okay.
And got Phil in here. What's up, Phil? Cody, good to see you. Tom, Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Darius, he lives in the Kentucky Lake area, and he's very fortunate. He wasn't hit by the tornadoes that came through.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God. And I reached out to several people that I know down there, Mike Russell and Terry Boughton and Mark Menendez.
Okay.
And everybody that I texted,
everybody good?
Yeah, everybody was fine. It's just they're helping all of the other people in the area, so it was horrible. Everybody that I texted,
everybody good?
Yeah, everybody was fine. It's just you got to turn it down on your side, June. It's feeding back. It was horrible. Everybody everybody was fine. You got to turn it down on your side, June. It's feeding back.
Oh, it is.
It was horrible. Everybody I would close out the YouTube.
Okay. Is it
yeah,
better?
We're fine. We're fine now. Yeah, it was just getting like an echo or whatever.
I'll just close out the YouTube.
Okay. Tom's in here. Let's see. Jeremiah, good to see you. White Whale Fishing. What's up from Indiana? William. Got Brock and Todd. Got a good crew in here. It's a good deal. So let's just start out in June. Talk about you got an interesting background. Can you kind of fill us in on your background?
Background. Well, you want me to...
Not behind you, but you spent some time in the United States before you were in Japan.
Yeah, actually, moved to the States when I was about 5 years old with my parents. And first I lived in Maryland.
Okay.
And my dad was in the military, so he was stationed all over the place. And last I could remember, we lived in California. And that was when I was in junior high school. So I think I did around 3 years in California, 3 or 4 years in California. And, it happens. My parents decided to, get a divorce. So my mom decided to go back to Japan. And I said, "You're going to go back to Japan? I don't even know how to speak Japanese or anything, So, she decided, so we had to go back, and, I'm right here right now since then, Yeah.
That's interesting.
Actually, I never bass fished when I was in Japan, when I was in the States.
You didn't?
I never bass fished when I was in the States.
Wow.
I didn't even know about bass fishing when I was in the States.
So how'd you get involved in bass fishing?
It was when I came back to Japan, and I had a lot of friends around me who were bass fishing, and they asked me if I wanted to go. And I said, "What is bass fishing?" I knew about, what the normal people do over here in Japan, like, carp fishing and things like that. But I never knew about bass fishing. So it pretty surprised me, Yeah. Since then, I was glued to bass fishing.
So carp fishing, is that one of the main species that people fish for in Japan?
Carp, yeah. Carp is one of the big fishing, game fish, you want to call it, over here in Japan, yeah.
Okay.
Now, is our largemouth invasive in Japan?
It is. It is.
Okay.
That's what they're calling it right now.
So is there a push to remove bass from the lakes, or is it
There is. Yeah, there is.
really?
It is.
Wow.
It's they did it, I think, around they made a law for it about 20 years ago. And even on my home lake, Lake Biwa, they're saying that no catch and release. If you catch the bass, you can't put it back into the lake. You have to kill it.
Oh wow.
So it's really, it's really tense over here. But I never saw a bass fisherman or a bass angler, catch a bass, and they have a waste box around the lake that you're supposed to put the fish that you caught into that waste box. But I never saw a fish in there.
Yeah.
So, it's not so good, but everybody's getting around it.
So there, you guys have ways around that
Yeah,
law.
because there's not a fine to that law. You don't get punished about that law. So, it's kind of a gray kind of law, yeah. I think they kept it that way because they didn't want to, make it really serious, because they knew that a lot of people were, spending a lot of money on that kind of fishing. So, they didn't want to really restrict it really hard. So, yeah,
So
it's really it's a gray zone.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you have? Crappie and bluegill in?
We have bluegill.
You have bluegill.
We have bluegill. That's the main forage over here for the bass.
Okay.
And we don't have crappie, and we don't have, gizzard shads, blueback herrings, and things like that. Only bass and bluegill and smallmouth.
Do your smallmouth grow just as giant as your largemouth do?
Oh, I know one lake in Japan. It's in the northern part of Japan that I heard. I never fished there before, but they get up into their, let's see, about 6-7 pound range.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
a
pretty big.
That's a giant.
Yeah, that's a really
big,
really
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So where do you live at, actually? What part of Japan do you live in?
I live in the Kansai area, the Kyoto. I live in Kyoto right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I was born in Kyushu. That's way south. Yeah. My parents are still in Kyushu.
So what's the weather like right now in Japan?
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's real cold. It's real cold. Yeah. It's real cold.
So do you have 4 seasons?
We have 4 seasons, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 4 seasons. Yeah. But I didn't think we had a good fall this year. It kind of just went straight into winter kind of mode. It almost every year it changes really good, but this year it didn't change so good. So the fishing was really, the fishing was not so good in the fall this year.
Yeah, we're still in fall. It's almost like springtime out there right now.
Oh yeah.
It was I think I saw 60.
Well, the night that that tornado came through, it was 70 degrees at 10 o'clock at night, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one reason why the tornadoes here, we have such abnormal temperatures for December 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, when you get a cold front that does push through and you've got warm air, it causes friction and starts to spin. And
that's what happens to it, yeah.
So you said Biwa is your home lake, right?
Yeah, Biwa is my home lake.
So what other lakes? Obviously, we've all heard of Biwa in Japan. What other lakes are around there? I'm sure there's more than just that one.
Biwa is one of the biggest lakes we have, right? I did a little study. Biwa is 259 square miles.
Wow.
Is that big?
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, that's the biggest lake we have. And we have a couple more big lakes that we call. but not in the area that I'm living right now. We have, pretty big sized dams, but they're not so big. No, it only takes about what 45 minutes to the end to to the other side to the other side. So it's not so big. Yeah.
So do you have? I'm gonna ask you several like Japanese culture questions because
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
I'm real
Ask me.
curious. It's real interesting.
Yeah.
As far as like food and restaurants and things like
Mhm.
that, do you have like a McDonald's or anything over there? Or
We
how
have McDonald's. We have McDonald's.
you have McDonald's? Okay.
We have McDonald's, but the McDonald's hamburgers are really small.
Well, that's
You know-
probably good because they're not good.
Oh
for you.
yeah. And I don't know what the price is over there in the States, but we have a dollar hamburger that they come out with every season or something.
Mhm.
It's only 100 yen, so it's a little bit it's a little bit over a dollar, but we call it a dollar burger over here. Yeah.
Okay. So 100 yen is close to $1.
$1, yeah, $1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's about 110 yen to a dollar. So yeah, it's a little bit less than a dollar. So yeah, we have
I had
McDonald's.
McDonald's for lunch today,
You
unfortunately.
had McDonald's for lunch.
Unfortunately. I travel a lot for work, so
Oh, yeah?
I have to eat what is in the town that I'm in, and I was
Okay.
in Fredericktown. For all the listeners out there that know where Fredericktown is at, and there's not much to eat in Fredericktown.
Oh yeah.
Not a safe restaurant that I want to eat while I'm on the road.
Oh,
traveling.
okay. Okay. So it's a lot more safer over here in Japan.
Well, the food wise, you never know when you eat something that's not part of your normal diet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You don't
yeah.
want to. Not that it's like gonna kill me or hurt me.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that. Yeah.
Don't want
Yeah.
stomach issues.
Yeah.
We got a question on here. We got a couple questions coming in.
Okay.
Andy says, "Do you make a lure that catches carp?"
No,
No.
only for bass.
Do you fish for carp at all?
No, not anymore. I'm magnet to bass fishing. I'm glued to bass fishing.
Awesome.
So what's the tournament situation? Is there a tournament scene in Japan? Do they fish bass tournaments over there?
Yeah, we have a bass tournament association called JB, and it stands for Japan Bass. And I actually fished in that tournament I started when I was 24 years old, and I fished for about 6 years, and I couldn't get up to a point where, that I was going to make my living in bass fishing. So I decided to, quit at that time. And I told myself, if I can't do any good the next year, I'm going to quit. And that next year I got Angler of the Year. So I think it brought up my motivation. So that was a really, good turning point for me. Yeah.
So can you make a living? I know this may be an odd question, but can you make a living bass fishing in Japan?
I think you can, but not only bass fishing tournaments. You have to have, you have to do a guide on the side, or you have to do a, bass fishing brand like me on the side to do, to make a living in Japan. It's
Okay.
pretty hard to make a living on the sponsorship and, winning a tournament. You won't get, so much, prize money winning a tournament over here. So it's not like in the States over there.
I would say it's probably pretty difficult to make a living in the States too,
Yeah.
tournament fishing,
Yeah.
but probably a little more difficult in Japan than it is.
I think it is, because of that, like I told you, they have that, stupid law about, killing bass over here. So it's pretty hard over here. Yeah. I fished in the JV tournaments for a long time, and they have a pro circuit in that tournament association called the top 50. And only 50 pros can fish that, that series. And I fished in that series for about 10 years. And I won four major tournaments in those series. So I think that, bring my name up in the industry pretty much. So, yeah.
So they don't have, do they have any smaller leagues or bass clubs
Oh,
or anything
they
like that?
do. They do. Yeah. We have a lot of local tournaments on Lake Biwa. And, when I quit the JB tournaments it was 2009 when I quit big tournaments. And I started more focusing on my brand, my lure brand. And I fished a lot of the, the Biwa local tournaments. And I won so many that they were starting to tell me, not to, fish in the tournaments over there. So, yeah, that happens pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have, I guess. I mean,
Yeah. It's pretty, it's a good problem.
So here's a question from Whitewell Fishing. He wants to know, what is Biwa like? Is it deep, shallow, vegetation? What's it made up of? How does it fish and stuff?
If you go up in the northern part of the lake, the depth goes around to about 300 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a native lake. And the shallow part of the lake is the deepest part of the shallow part of the lake is around 15 to 16 feet. And that's the southern part of the lake. Yeah. And most of the time I spent a lot of time on the southern part of the lake. Yeah. But that big fish that I caught the other day, it was on the northern part of the lake. It
was on the northern part. Okay.
Yeah, it was on the northern part. Yeah.
How much did that one weigh? I saw that on Facebook.
That was about 11 pounds.
Oh, wow. That was a huge fish.
That was a huge fish for me too. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So back to the lake, is it mostly rock, or is there standing timber? Is there any grass or vegetation in it?
There's hardly any standing timber. And if you're in the southern part of the lake, most of it's grass.
Oh.
And there's some part of the lake that is dredged out. I think you can understand dredged out, right? They dig holes in the there's a lot of places where they dredged it out. So we got a lot of ledges on the southern part of the lake. And we have a lot of grass. We have a lot of hydrilla, eelgrass, and cabbage grass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot of that too. But now they're saying that the grass is a non-native species too.
Oh no!
So it's weird. It's so weird.
So is there any current in?
There is. Every time when it rains, they open up the docks, and they do a consistent water flow. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another question from Whitewell. Is largemouth common table fare in Japan? Do a lot of people eat largemouth?
They don't eat largemouth. Not at all. Not at all.
But you guys eat carp, right?
We eat carp, yeah. Yeah. But I think a lot of people eat, saltwater fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you know about the color ayu, right? The ayu color?
Yes.
That's a freshwater fish over here, and it's, a lot of people like to eat ayu too. Yeah, it's a common freshwater fish that they eat over here.
Brock says, "Hey June, do you know Taku Ito?"
Yeah, I know Taku Ito. Yeah.
And he said, "Can we get a 50% off code?"
Off my website? I got to think about that.
Yeah.
I got to talk to my wife.
There you go.
The boss, right?
Yeah, the boss.
Now, how far from the lake are you?
I'm about 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not exactly my house right now. This is you want to call it my workshop? Yeah. Yeah, I have a house about 15 minutes from here. So
Okay.
yeah.
Doug said you should have hollered at him when you were in Fredericktown. He could have got you some deer
I
sausage.
probably
for
should
lunch.
have. Yeah.
He makes.
Does he live in Fredericktown?
Yeah, he lives in
Oh, my goodness.
Cherokee Pass.
I was in Cherokee Pass today.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he makes some really good deer sausage.
Dang it. I'll hit you up next time.
No more
I'm up there, Doug.
McDonald's.
No more McDonald's. He's retired too, isn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'll call him about 10:30 in the morning, have him grill me up something.
That sounds good.
Here's a question from Stephanie. And before we do this, let me go ahead and announce that for anybody that's new to the live stream, we do a giveaway. It's going to be some Cumberland Pro. It's going to be some Hawgz Custom Baits, and we're going to throw in some star jigs.
Okay.
And it is called the Sasquatch giveaway. So sometime here in the next, I don't know, however long it is, we will ask, we'll reference Sasquatch sometime during the conversation. And when you hear that, you guess a number between 1 and 200, and June has already picked out the number, and whoever guesses that lucky number, they're going to win a prize pack. And June actually said he's going to chip in on some some lures or something for the giveaway, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So just keep your ears peeled, and when you hear that, guess your number between 1 and 200. And then Stephanie says, how hard is it to catch largemouth bass if carp are basically what everyone fishes for?
Well, I think a lot of the young people in Japan started bass fishing, and the old people are still, fishing for carp and other, species in the ocean and things, so, a lot of people, the young people are really glued to the bass fishing. So it's a pretty difficult way to, say like that, but it's not, I don't want to say it's hard to catch a bass over here, but, I think it's pretty hard to catch a carp too. You have to know where the carp is at that time to catch it. So
carp are smart. I've
they
tried
are
to fish
smart.
Carp. They're pretty smart fish.
They're smart. Yeah.
I was watching your video. I was watching one of your videos last night, and you had a camera guy in the boat, and you were throwing the triple deluxe.
Okay.
And you were fishing. It looked like you were fishing outside of a marina. There was a rock,
that's
like an island with trees on it, like a little.
That was a pylon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and there were boats everywhere fishing in the background.
Yeah, there is.
Is that normal? Is there always a lot of people out there fishing?
That's normal.
Okay.
We have to fish under that condition, so it's pretty hard.
I'll have to show that video to you. I mean, there was literally like 20 boats in the background as far as you could see.
Well, it sounds like there's not a lot of lakes to fish over there. So
yeah, it's really crowded over here.
I was gonna say it's got to be crowded around that lake.
Yeah, it's really crowded. When I first started, tournament fishing over here in Japan, there was about 600 boats in that tournament.
Holy cow.
And I won Angler of the Year in that 600 tournament. So that was pretty hard.
That's
impressive.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty hard.
Now, this is a question that I have, and it may come up later on, but Darius asked right here, is there very, very many bass boats in Japan? What's the boat situation look like?
We have, I think, almost all the companies that you have in the States.
Okay.
And we have, Ranger was one of the first boats that, first FRP bass boats that came into Japan. And I actually worked for that store for about 16 years. And they were one of the, top sales international dealers over here in Japan. We have Ranger. We even have Vexus over here right now.
Really?
Yeah. We have Vexus, Phoenix. I think almost all the boats. Skeeter.
Produced or imported?
Imported.
Okay.
So really expensive.
I was going to say they can't be cheap.
Really expensive.
You don't put a Vexus on an airplane and fly it in.
No.
Vexus is expensive over here.
Yeah, they're shipped by the some kind of they call it the car ferry. The big ships that they put the cars on there and they send them to the States. On the way back, they're empty. So they put, the boats on there and things like that, and they ship it back to Japan.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only way we can get them over here. Yeah.
So what boat are you running then?
I'm running a Ranger right now. It's a 2008. It was the 40 anniversary model or something.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the 198 or something. Yeah. The model series is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been owning it for a long time. I like it so.
So a 19-foot, 8
It's a
inches,
19 foot. Yeah, it's a 19 foot. I have a 200 horse Suzuki on there, so yeah.
That's a good motor. Suzuki's a good motor.
I'm never going to change the motor to a different company.
No.
It never breaks down on me.
We run Tohatsu.
Yeah,
Nissan
I saw
motors.
that. Yeah,
They're really good motors too.
yeah.
They're real popular over here.
We have a small engine. Like I have a small boat. It has a 40 horse it's a small FRP boat. It's around a 14 foot FRP boat. And I have a 40 horse, 30 horse engine on there, but it's a Mercury, but it's actually OEM by Tohatsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty
FRP.
neat.
Is that fiberglass?
It's fiberglass. Yeah. It's
Okay.
fiberglass. Yeah. Fiberglass.
So I got a question for you. You think you mentioned that bass fishing has gotten real popular by the younger crowd. I would have to think that some of the Japanese tournament anglers that have come to the States have kind of spurred interest of the young. I think Takahiro Omoru and
Omori. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Shin Fukai, and then
he was my roommate when he was
your roommate.
Yeah, Shin was one of my roommates when he was fishing over here.
Okay, so did he fish the same?
Yeah, he fished the same. Yeah, and he won actually when he decided to go to the States and do tournaments over there. He was fishing with me on the top 50 series over here in Japan, and he actually won the Angler of the Year on the top 50 series that year. And there's another tournament in Japan. It's called the Bazar All-Star Classic. And he actually won that tournament too, that same year.
Huh.
And the next year he went to the States and joined the FLW, and he won the Angler of the Year on the FLW the next year.
Oh, he was hot.
He was hot. That's the cool thing. We don't ever hear about that. We just hear about what they do over here, and a lot of times we don't hear about the international anglers until
they make it to the States.
Either they make it to the States or they make a name for themselves here.
Yeah, that's right.
Because who was the Japanese angler that just qualified through the Elite Series?
Taku Ito or
no. It was Aoki Daisuke.
Yes.
Aoki Daisuke and Matsushita.
Yes.
And I know. I think Kimura Kenta is already in the Elite.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So I think there's going to be four guys from Japan in the Elite Series next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are all guys I'm sure you know.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But I mean, those guys have probably been over here for more than just a year fishing.
Yeah, they've been over there for a long time.
And a lot of those guys we just now hear of because they've qualified, they've made a name for themselves.
Yeah.
So
I think Matsushita was in the States doing tournaments for a long time now, maybe over 10 years.
Wow.
And Kimura Kenta is over there for a long time too. Yeah. But, Taku Ito, I think he has some kind of sense, Yeah, I know. He's natural. He's natural. Yeah.
Yeah. I was fishing. This was last year, I was at Pickwick Lake. Toyota has a big owners tournament on Pickwick Lake. And I was standing around talking to Gerald Swindle.
Okay.
And we were talking about forward facing sonar like Garmin Live Scope.
Uh-huh.
And somehow Taku Ito's name came up, and
Okay.
Gerald was saying how much of a master he is at the live scope. And
Oh yeah.
he said this was last year. He said that guy's he's gonna go far. He's just really dialed in. He knows what he's doing, and he said he's just down there watching that thing, and he's casting to the fish and catching them.
Yeah.
And so the pros here think highly of him as well.
Yeah, I think where that came from is because when he was in Japan, he never fished out of a bass boat. First time he fished out of the bass boat when he went to the States. When he decided to fish on the Open Series, that's his first time when he drove a bass boat.
So what did he have in Japan?
Did he just fish?
When he was fishing in Japan, he was a bank fisherman. He got really famous on bank fishing. And when he was fishing in Japan on the boats, he was fishing out of a rent-a-boat, small rent-a-boat, and he only had a trolling motor in the front. So
he's been posting stuff on Facebook about that.
Yeah. That's his Japanese style of fishing.
Wow.
So that's why he's really, used to using, sonars, because he's used to, just fishing out of a rent-a-boat with a trolling motor on the front. So he's already, he's used to using his electronics. Yeah. And I think
he's a natural.
He's a natural. He's really used to fishing in, high pressure lakes over there in the Tokyo area. So yeah, he's talented.
Wow. Can
you catch a bass like consistently? A lot of the power fishing baits that we use, say a spinner bait, a crank, just a small crankbait, a bladed jig. Can you catch fish consistently in your lakes over there, or do you have to use something that's a little bit different than everything else?
Well, I think there's a in the whole year there's a part season where you use different kind of baits, right? And I think you can catch fish using spinner baits, chatter baits, jigs, but you have to use them in the right situation to catch it. But a lot of people over here in Japan that I don't want to say I don't like, but because a lot of the anglers over here in Japan, they only can go fishing maybe once a week, or maybe, let's see, once a month. So when they go at that time, they want to catch a fish, right? So they go to a bait that they can catch a fish. So they go to the Finesse style. They have a spinning rod in their hand and things like that. So there's a lot of people having a spinning rod in their hand a lot of times. I like spinning rods, but that's the last thing I want to do.
I like him. Power fisherman.
Yeah, that's the last thing I want to do. Yeah.
But your power fishing is a little bit different than my power fishing. You throw big giant swim baits.
Oh yeah. I like the Alabama rigs too. I like spinner baits. Yeah. Like I said the other day, the first time when I, bumped into Gabe's, YouTube videos, because I was searching on YouTube of, it was just after when I watched the classic when Jason Christie, I think it was on Grand Lake, when he was using a big spinner bait in the springtime.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was really shocking to me, using that big Colorado spinner bait, catching those fish in pretty, shallow water. And I was looking for videos about that, and I bumped into your video. You were talking about the thumper. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know that is.
It's so crazy.
All the way over in Japan.
Soon as I watched your video, I said, "Oh gosh, he's fishing out of a small aluminum boat." This is like the Japanese style over here, and I got more curious, and I think I watched almost all your videos.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Like that guy you had on live a while ago, Ken Smith.
Yes.
I even watch his videos. Yeah. I think I watched it. Yeah.
Ken's in Texas. I think Ken lives in Texas, so he fishes Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend.
Yeah, Lake Fork and things like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Pretty
Our
weird.
lakes aren't. We're not fishing those size lakes out of our boats though.
Oh, okay. The real small ones.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't know what the square miles is, but 1,800 acres is about the biggest lake that we
okay.
fish. But we have all of our lakes have that we fish, at least not all
Most
of them,
a lot
have
of
a
them.
horsepower restriction.
Okay.
So it's a 10 horsepower or under. So
Uh-huh.
we're all running 9.9 motors
Okay.
and smaller boats.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we'll try to get the biggest platform that we can
Mm-hmm.
with the 10 horse motor to not just be going 4 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But even the bigger lakes that are unlimited horsepower, they're still
Uh-huh.
small enough that we can get around pretty good with a 10 horsepower motor.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. You can do just fine around here with a full size bass boat or just a 16-foot aluminum boat. You can fish most of the lakes, so it's pretty
almost
nice.
better to have the smaller boat just because there's access to more lakes.
Okay.
And then you can like he said, you can still go to some of our larger reservoirs that
you can still fish over there.
Yeah, you just got to pick the right day. You don't go on a holiday weekend or a Sunday
in the summertime.
August.
Yeah, in the weekends in the summertime, it gets really busy with pleasure boaters, jet skis. So you have to.
It's the same over here.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Well, that lake Biwa is got a little bit of everything. Biwa. I'm sorry, Biwa. I didn't know it had grass in it. So you're able to fish ledges, punch grass, do about everything.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about a bait called a punch shot?
I was going to ask you about it, but no, I don't know about it.
Well, actually, I'm the founder of Punch Shot.
Really?
Yeah. I first started doing it on Lake Biwa. And what it was is that at that year, everybody was using a heavy Texas rig, an ounce to a half ounce, a really heavy Texas rig to punch through the, hydrilla. And it was around, let's see, 12 to 14 feet in water, and the hydrilla came up to the surface. But it's not, you don't want to say it's matted out. It's slightly, beneath the surface, but you wouldn't get, regular Texas rig through the grass. So everybody was using that heavy Texas rig, and they were catching a lot of fish. But, a couple of years later, because everybody was doing that same rig, it's getting harder and harder to catch, bass on that same rig. So I started to use a heavy drop shot with a bait caster, maybe a half ounce, and have your normal leader about, a foot or so. And I started to drop that in the grass, and it went through the grass pretty good because the weight went through and it pulled the bait after that. And I started experimenting on that, and I started to, move the leader shorter and shorter. And I got to a point where you don't need a leader on this thing. And I went to the store and I found a slim sinker, a drop shot slim sinker. You think you can know what it is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what I did was I took that slim sinker and I put it on an offset hook like this. This is actually my sinker that I came out with. It's a punch shot sinker. And I made it like a system like this, and you put a bait on here, and if you pitch it in the grass, the weight goes through the grass first. Because you have this shaft right here, it pulls in the bait through the grass with a lighter weight. So the bass were getting really, related to that heavy weight, and all of a sudden, if you pitch in, a lighter weight, they automatically start to bite again. And when I first started to do this, I caught bass in a triple digits every day, hundreds of bass every day.
Holy cow!
And this is what I call a punch shot rig. Can you see it?
Yeah. So is there a swivel on the end of that?
There's a split ring that joins and there's a swivel.
Okay.
And you tie your line to the swivel.
So it's like a Tokyo rig, but
that's what I was going to.
Okay. Okay.
You know the Tokyo rig, right?
Yes.
Right.
I don't want to say any kind of bad things to the pros, but I don't know. I forgot when it was, but actually, Iconelli
Yes.
came to Japan.
Yes.
On a fishing trip, some kind of television show or something. He did it over here with Morizo, who fished the Elite Series a while ago, and the person who made the jackhammer, chatterbait. He was fishing with him over here in Japan, and he bought, he fished on Lake Biwa, and at that time the punch shot rig was the bait that you had to fish on Lake Biwa. And he did it on Lake Biwa, and he was really curious about the rig. And he thought if he, no one knew about it in the States at that time. No one knew about it. So he bought a couple of samples, took it back to the States, and all of a sudden the Tokyo rig came out. And why it's called the Tokyo rig is because there's another rig really close to this, but it doesn't have the sinker on it like the Tokyo rig. You have to put a sinker on the Tokyo rig, right?
Right.
A guy in Japan actually invented that a long time ago before they came out with the Tokyo rig. And the one they sell over here in Japan is called the Cherry rig. And he took that back to the States and he came out with the Tokyo rig. And why they call it the Tokyo rig is because that guy who invented the Cherry rig lives in Tokyo.
Huh.
Wow.
I think that's why they call it the Tokyo rig.
See, I remember I read about this. It's been, 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay.
It was the power shot.
And the power shot.
Just heavyweight drop shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I caught a few fish on that, but I quickly got rid of that idea in my head. And like I said, I was high school, college age when I started fishing that. Didn't have a ton of success on it. Just kind of dismissed it. And then when they came out with the Tokyo rig here, it's like, well, heck, I did that 10 years ago. Didn't even know it.
You had a long
No, I was only using like a 4-inch leader, like 20 pounds.
Okay, so you were really close.
Yeah, but it was, I just tied the weight on. I didn't think about putting a wire on it or molding a weight to the wire. I just did that, and it only lasted for about 3 or 4 months that I tried it and experimented with it. I figured I could catch them just as well on a Texas rig, but I never pitched it in the grass. I always just pitched around laydowns and stuff. So. Okay.
It works really good in the grass, especially in the hydraulic grass.
I could imagine.
Yeah, it works really good.
Now, is that leader, is that molded onto that wire?
It's a wire. It's a stainless steel wire.
Okay. And is that lead molded on there?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And it has a swivel on a sinker too.
Okay.
And the bottom of the sinker is actually bent on the bottom end so the shaft won't come off.
Okay.
Yeah. These are the sinkers. They're tungsten. Yeah.
With tungsten. Okay. So they're really that's neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll send you some.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So the fish don't care. They don't care about all that. It doesn't bother them that there's wire and the sinker so close.
No. The way I think is because, when it drops to the bottom, I think the sinker is actually in the grass a little bit. So they only see the bait on top of the grass that's on the bottom. So they eat it really good. Yeah. They never miss it.
Jay Bethel wants to know, what's your preferred bait on that rig? A beaver style or a worm or what?
I used to use a 5-inch Gary Yamamoto Senko or a Zoom Super Fluke. Oh, not a Super Fluke. You know, what's that zoom bait that looks like a Senko? It has a split tail on the end.
Oh, that's a fluke stick?
A fluke stick, yeah. I like to use that. And I think there's a really close one that Reaction Innovations came out with. It looks like a fluke stick or a Senko. I think I use that a lot too. Yeah.
What about David says the
Jika rig.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a because I was saying the punch shot rig, and it got so famous in the bass industry over here in Japan. The other companies that were coming out with the same kind of rig just changed their name. It's the same rig. Yeah. I think they gave me a lot of respect.
That's really cool. I didn't know that's where that came from.
So
Yeah.
in your tournament fishing over there, is it very similar to ours?
It is, yeah. It's a 5-fish limit.
5 fish. So what's an average bag over there, and what's an above average bag?
If you wanted to win a local tournament on Lake Biwa right now, I think you have to at least catch over 20.
Okay.
So it has to be over 40 to win a tournament. If it was a 2-day tournament, you have to catch over 40.
Okay.
Even in the wintertime.
So you're converting kilos to pounds right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be around 10 kilos.
Okay.
So yeah, it might be a little bit over 20 pounds. So yeah,
it's a pretty good solid sack, but
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
How many of those double-digit bass are coming in on those tournaments?
Not so many.
Okay.
Yeah, not so many. Yeah.
So those are, we always hear about them. They're rare.
They're rare. Yeah.
You're not catching double digits every day you go out there.
No.
Okay.
So that's why I was so happy.
What's your biggest, your PB, personal best?
My biggest is 65 centimeters, and it was just over the weight that I caught the other day. It was 4,980 grams. My PB is, but on the swim bait, that was my PB.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the length limit to keep a fish in at Biwa in a tournament?
It's 30 centimeters, so around the foot.
Okay, 12 inch.
What, 12 inches? Well, what was a foot?
12 inches.
Oh yeah, so it's 12 inches. Yeah,
that's a common length limit in the States too. 12 inches.
Okay. Yeah.
You said 4,980 grams.
Yeah, in grams.
Okay, so that's almost an 11-pounder.
Oh yeah, that's my PB. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was doing the conversion. I had to Google the conversion.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite JDM swim bait glide bait?
Me?
Yeah.
I want to say mine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but when I first started swim baiting, I think it was the jointed claw Guncraft. Yeah, was my first swim bait. I think they were the first companies to come out with a S motion type, swim bait. Yeah. Guncraft.
Ron wants to know, why do fish grow so large in Japan? How did you that 25-pounder, that 24-pounder world record?
Yeah.
What was that fish eating over there?
Well, it was actually caught on a off limits area. It was caught under a bridge that people were not supposed to fish there, and he caught it with a bluegill. And if it was caught with a lure, I think everybody would have promoted a little bit more. It might have got a lot more publicity, but I think why the fish grow so much over here is because I think a lot of bait fish, they have bluegill, they have ayu, they have Japanese trout. They have a lot of, food source over here. Yeah. And I think a lot of the big fish are in a spot where it's hard to, cast the lure and things like too. So, yeah.
Let's talk about your Swimbait.
Swimbait. Yeah, triple deluxe.
Triple deluxe. Yeah, because I want to ask you all about that thing. You showed it to me the other night, and that's it's
a 5 ounce bait.
How much?
5 ounce.
5 ounce bait.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I was expecting a pound.
Yeah. It's getting, pretty interesting right now. A lot of, bait companies coming out with more bigger baits. So, this was called, when I came out with this, it was called a giant bait, giant swim bait. But now it might be a, big bait,
Yeah.
Now, how long is that?
It's 25 centimeters. So it's a little under a foot. It's, I think, about 10 inches, 11 inches. Yeah.
I mean, we throw soft swim baits that are that big.
Yeah.
Well, there's some people that do. Some people that do.
Yeah.
And I have a little smaller one too that I just came out with. Get all the tangle. This one doesn't have a tail on it, but it's a little smaller size. It's about this size difference.
Let me put you on the full screen here real quick.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom one is the
smaller one.
Yeah.
This is called the Pinky Deluxe.
Pinky Deluxe, and the top is
the Triple Deluxe. Yeah.
Okay, so the top is about 10 or 11 inches, and then the bottom one's
about 6. 6, yeah. Yeah, about 6.
And that's Dream Express Lures, right?
Yeah, it's my brand, Dream Express Lures. Yeah.
So let's talk about both of them separate. Let's do the Triple Deluxe. Is it a glide bait, like a gliding motion bait, or?
It's a S motion glide bait. Yeah.
S motion glide bait.
Yeah.
Which means for the folks at home, it's going to have like an S type pattern when it.
Yeah. If you straight retrieve it, it's going to come in like a S motion. Yeah.
Okay, it's a 3-piece bait then.
3-piece bait, yeah. And
does it float, sink?
This is a slow floating. It's not, just suspended, but it's a slow floating type of bait. Yeah.
Are all the Triple Deluxes a slow floating bait?
Slow floating, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It costs about $120 over here, so you don't want to spend sinking bait with $120. The tail comes off like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a kind of silicone type, tail. It's pretty hard.
So will you ever change the tail color in the same bait?
Yeah. Like we have a little bit of chartreuse over here. I actually have a chartreuse tail, so sometimes change the tail to a brighter color and things like that.
Based on the watercolor and the cloud cover. And
yeah.
So what size hooks do you have on that?
I have a one on hook on both front and back.
Okay.
I changed these to gamakatsu hooks.
And then what about the?
I want to know what line and rod you throw that
with. It's a big bait.
You can put it back to double screen if you want.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, actually, what rod I use is we have I just came out with a rod series a couple years ago. It's called Unlimited Rods.
Okay.
And I have them made in Japan. I have a designer over here in Japan who's really famous over here, and he builds the rods for me. And actually, he we go over the, the designs and the spec and the carbon that we, what kind of carbon that we're going to use and things like that, and actually design the blanks. And we go over what kind of guides that we put on there. And I came out with, I only have one spinning rod, but I have 5 different bait casting rods. And one of the rods are actually just for this. It's called the Triple Deluxe rod. So yeah, it's used to, you can cast up to around 7-ounce bait with it. Yeah, it's a pretty stiff rod.
Huh. Does it have a tip though to it? Like a little bit of
It
tip?
doesn't have a lot of tip because, I tested a lot of rods until, I decided I wanted to come out with that. If you have a lot of tip to it, it was pretty hard to cast. So I gave up the tip a little bit. So it's a little bit difficult to, give it some action, but I think you can bear with it. Yeah.
What length is that rod?
It's 7.4.
Okay, so not a giant rod.
Not a giant rod, yeah.
And the reels that you use for those?
I use a Biwa Tatura HD.
Okay.
I don't think they sell it in the States. Let me get one. This is the reel that I use. It's a
Okay, hold on. You gotta go solo layout again so people can see. Okay.
Okay. This is one of my spare reels.
And what gear ratio is that?
It's a 6.3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It has a long handle. Yeah.
So we have the Tatulas, but we don't have. I don't know if we have the HDs or not. I'm not a Daiwa guy. I'm a Shimano guy.
Yeah. I used to get sponsored by Daiwa, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fluorocarbon braid.
Fluorocarbon. I'm still with Sunline, so I use the FC Sniper 25.
Okay.
Yeah, 25 pounds. Yeah.
So nothing crazy there.
Nothing crazy, no. Yeah.
And you put a swivel on the front?
I do, yeah. I have a small swivel on the front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I've found. I've thrown a few glide baits, not many, but they seem to helicopter a lot of times. So on the cast, they kind of spin.
Yeah. Actually, mine doesn't helicopter a lot because all my baits, I can show you. I have a clear bait right here. It's a Pinky Deluxe, but the weight system is actually, near the middle of the bait.
Okay.
Yeah. But most of the companies, they have their weight system, near the bottom. So that's what causes, when you cast a lure, and if you have the weight system on the bottom, that's what it causes it to, helicopter a lot.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So
I bet that one wobbles too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Having a more no wobble. I'm saying like this.
Oh, okay, yeah. The roll kind of wobble.
Yeah, roll.
Yeah.
Because of that weight's a little more centrally located.
Yeah, and actually, this swim bait, I accidentally found out that when I had that weight system, close to the middle, when you retrieve it, it does a S motion, but if you give it a small twitch, it does a 360 turn, but it does it in a jet coaster motion. It goes under. So what it does is that it comes this way and it goes under like this.
Really?
Yeah. So most of the, the swim baits, when you give it a jerk or something, it has a tendency to go upwards. So your line gets stuck on your front hook and your cast will be ruined. But the Triple Deluxe and Pinky Deluxe, when you give it a small twitch, it has a tendency to go downwards and it does a turn like this. So when you have when you're retrieving it and you see a bass coming from, when you're retrieving it, you see a bass coming towards the bait, you give it a little twitch and it goes downwards and it gets closer to the bass. So it gives the bass a kind of reaction bite to it. Yeah.
June, you're going to cost me a lot of money.
That is really cool.
You know,
So-
I accidentally found that out because of our weight system in the bait. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
really neat.
so what is the common ways to actually retrieve that bait?
Like on the, you know, the short video that I posted on YouTube, you know, a couple days ago, I actually, before I casted, you know, the friend that I was fishing with, he told me that he saw a boil next to that rock, and he cast just close to that boil where that fish boiled to a bait fish or something. And because he, you know, casted close to the rock, I just cast a little bit further outside, and I started to, you know, slow retrieve it. And when it got just, you know, beside the rock, I just did a, you know, 2 twitches, and on the second twitch, after the second twitch, the fish ate it. It was pretty exciting, you know. I saw the, you know, I saw the flash in the water, so I knew it was a big fish. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Do
You know,
they
even
typically-
even
Go
after
ahead.
that, we saw a lot of chases. Even, you know, bigger fish, you know, we saw a lot of bigger fish chasing the bait after that.
Bigger fish than the one you caught?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
How clear is the water there?
It was really clear. You can see about, you could see really deep, about what, 15 feet.
Oh yeah, that's real clear.
It was really clear. Yeah, it was really clear. It gets really clear in the, you know, wintertime when the water gets cold. Yeah.
So you see the fish from a pretty
Yeah,
far
you can
away
see 'em. You
following
can see
the
the
bait.
fish, you know, come out of the rock and, you know, go, you know, back of your bait. And you can do all kinds of things, you know, try to trick them, but they're pretty smart.
That's got to be frustrating though to see.
It is frustrating. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know, I caught that fish on my 3rd cast that morning.
Wow.
So it was pretty tense and pretty exciting. And after that fish, I think we had about, what, 15 to 20 follows. So it was a pretty good day. Yeah. But that was the only bite I could get. Yeah. I had some close calls, but yeah.
Now we always talk about the biggest fish that you caught on that giant swim bait. I want to know what the smallest fish that you caught on that swim bait is.
About just the size of the bait.
So they've came after it and you've caught them off that.
Yeah, I caught them. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They don't really care. If they want to eat it, they'll eat it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whitewell Fishing wants to know: did you design that bait, or how did that come about?
I designed it. Fully
Okay.
designed it. You know, 70 to 65% of the lures that I make for my brand, I actually hand make them. They're handmade by me. You know, I pour my lead, I make my own silicone molds. And when I first started to make this, you know, swim bait, I actually made a silicone mold, and I poured some resin and things, you know, that foam kind of material that they use to make the swim baits. I used to, you know, pour that kind, and I couldn't get it to, you know, stabilize the same way, you know, each one to stabilize the same way. So I quitted making them after a year or so, because I didn't like the way, you know, every single one wasn't the same, you know, and I quit making them. And one day this factory actually, you know, called me up and said, you know, it looks like you're having a lot of problems, you know, making your swim bait. Is there any kind of way that we can help you out? And I couldn't, you know, first I didn't know what company it was, but after I talked to them, they told me that they were making lures for other swim bait companies like Guncraft, you know, the jointed claw. And there's, you know, I don't want to say so much about the other companies, but there's a lot of famous Japanese companies that are made at the same factory. Yeah. So they're a pretty big OEM company over here in Japan. Yeah.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions that
Okay.
came in. Everybody's got a bunch of questions for you. So
Okay.
Jay Beffa wants to know,
Mhm.
what is the number one bait that you sell to U.S. customers?
Me,
Yes.
I only sell to one store
Okay.
in the States. I think it was in North Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. That's the first website that pulled up when I searched.
Yeah, that's the only store that I sell to.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't sell directly to him. There's a guy in Japan. There's a rep in Japan. He's a Japanese guy. He's a nice Japanese guy that hooked me up to that store. And I'm actually getting an order from them right now. Yeah.
Carolina Fishing Tackle LLC.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say besides you? What would you say, just a guess, what the best, some of the most bought, lures from Japan for US customers? Just a guess.
I think it's I think it's a swim bait.
Swim bait.
Yeah. Yeah, because the other baits that, can I go get my Alabama rig?
Sure, yeah. Go right ahead. Yeah. Grab anything you want.
I wonder how many Roman maids he's got. You got any Roman maids?
Yeah, there's a lot of Roman maids over here. I actually know the person who makes the Roman maids.
Are they truly
They're handcrafted? Every single one is handcrafted. And they're made out of wood. And nowadays, he actually selects the wood that he wants to make the swim baits out of.
Wow. That's why they're $1,200 a piece.
That's why they're $1,200. Yeah.
I hope they're slow float.
And not fast sink.
This is the Alabama rig that I make. It's a real small, compact Alabama rig. We call it the treasure trap.
Treasure trap. Okay.
Yeah. And actually what's neat about it is that the arm, we have a swivel and a snap. You can actually take it off by, one touch like this.
Whoa.
And you can put it back on. So you can use it as a, 5 hooks. You can, put hooks on, every single arm, or you can take them off, and you can even put a hook on a center arm. And
does it come bent already, or does it come flat?
Yes, it comes like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how are the arms? Are they pretty flexible?
They're pretty flexible. Yeah.
Is it stainless steel?
It's stainless steel.
Okay.
We make every single one of these.
By hand?
By hand.
Oh wow.
So the arms are pre-bent like this.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it is, straight. So after it comes to, our factory, or, our office or something, we put all the parts in the arms, and my wife actually bends the front end of the arms. So I could, I solder the front end, every single one, with a solder iron.
Yeah.
Wow. So it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's awesome.
I like how you take that snap off. That's pretty neat,
that's cool.
Really quick.
This is the best-selling bait that I ever made. And maybe this wintertime, in about 2 months, we actually make about 4,000 to 5,000 baits in the 2 months in the wintertime.
Wow.
So we're pretty busy in the next 2 months. Yeah.
Efficient too.
Efficient too, yeah.
Efficient. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
yeah.
So why I can't send these to the States is because the arms are like this.
Right.
It's pretty hard to ship over there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is that how long have you been making that? How many years? Or is it something
for about
new?
5-6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you fish 5 hooks?
Yeah, we can. There's no limit. There's no limit over here in Japan. But in the tournaments, the local tournaments, there's tournaments that you only could use 1 hook, the center hook only. So, I have a one like this. has a jig hook like this, and I put bladed weights on there like this.
Oh, he's got weights on the blades.
Let me see that. That's pretty interesting.
That way it doesn't spin on you.
That's right.
Bladed weights.
Yeah, I make these myself. No one sell these yet. I just twist them around myself and just make them for myself. This is 3 point, so it's a 1/8, and this is a 1/16. I have 3 1/16 and a 1/8 right here, so the Alabama rig won't twist around during the retrieve.
You don't have to share everything with everybody.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, just tell you guys, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't tell anybody.
Yeah. I'll get some of these over to you.
That's really cool. That is neat.
I got to see some of these baits. You catching some of the fish.
Hey, you send them to me, and I will put them to work. I promise you.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd love to catch some fish on your baits. That'd be awesome. White Will says, what is your preferred technique to catch largemouth? Do you have a favorite way to catch largemouth?
The way I got famous in this bass fishing industry over here in Japan is actually sight fishing.
Oh.
And in Japan, when you say sight fishing, everybody thinks a fish on a bed. That's not me. If it's during a tournament, I will try to catch a fish on a bed, but I go sight fishing, in all kinds of ways. Even in the wintertime, when a fish, follows your swim bait, I think that's sight fishing too. So I got really famous in the sight fishing, and I actually have a Japanese, name called metan. You can see the metan.
Yeah.
This is in English, but in Japanese, I call it metan. And I even have that metan word registered, with a R mark, because I made that name. So that's what made me famous over here in Japan. So I think I'm really into the sight fishing. Yeah.
So what does metan mean?
It means, let me write it down.
Okay.
It's pretty neat. I'm going to get a piece of paper.
Sure.
You're good.
Bear with me.
Guys, keep firing those questions in if you're out there. We'll try to get to all of them tonight.
And if you're new to the channel, consider giving me a thumbs up and giving me a subscribe. I'm close to 4,000. That was my goal for the year. So I'm really close to 4,000 subscribers.
We got a couple more days left.
We got a couple more days left. Okay.
So this is metan.
Let me go full screen on you.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
This is metan in Japanese, okay?
Okay.
And this is in English on the top. And this part of the word means eyes. Your eyes.
Eyes.
And this part of the word means fish finder.
Wow.
So I put these together and I relate it to sight fishing.
That's really cool.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's what you can do in Japanese language. You can make up words like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because we were talking about that the other night about the Japanese writing, the symbols has always fascinated me, and I didn't know that there were 3 different ways.
3 different ways
to say things.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let me see what other questions that we have.
Really complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful language, though. Looking at how it's written out, I like looking at it. Yeah. I don't know what it says, but I just like looking at it.
There's a lot of words that I don't know. I don't even know what it says.
Well, that makes me feel better then.
Yeah. I'm still learning.
Hammy wants to know if you've ever fished in the States.
Yeah, I was talking to Gabe the other day about when I first fished in the States was actually, when I was fishing the tournaments over here in Japan, after I got my Angler of the Year over here, because I was working for the biggest bass fishing tackle store in Japan, and they were the only stores that had the Ranger boats. Well, they were the exclusive Ranger boat dealers in Japan. It was called Popeye. The cartoon Popeye.
Yes.
It was the same. It was the same spell.
Okay.
And after I got that Angler of the Year, actually Ranger setted me up to a tournament in Florida, and that tournament at that time was called the M1 tournament, and that relates to the Forestwood Cup right now. So I fished the first Forestwood Cup in Florida.
Really?
Yeah. And Guido and Dion was fishing that. And a lot of other pros were fishing that too. And I lost one fish on I think it was the second day on a spinnerbait. It was a pound something fish. But if I got that fish, I was in the top 10. And I was supposed to fish the third day.
Wow.
So I finished 11th in that tournament.
Which is really, really good.
It was really good, yeah.
Wow.
But that one fish.
Yeah, one fish.
Could have been better.
One fish, yeah. That was the first tournament that I fished over there. And the second tournament that I fished was, actually, we had a JB tournament on Lake Mead. We took all the pros from Japan, and we got on a plane, and we went to Lake Mead, and we fished the tournament over there.
Wow.
I think that was the second time. At that tournament, I remember, he passed away a month ago or so, Aaron Martin.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, talking to him. Well, he actually came to my table and said, "Is there anybody here who could speak English? I want you to, interpret what this guy is saying to me, So he pulled me over to the table and he told me to interpret what the other Japanese guy were saying to him. So, yeah. Gotcha. I have a lot of memories to him too. Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Yeah, I never met him, but I've heard nothing but good things about him.
No. Yeah.
Huh. Well, how do the fish? The second part of this question is: is the bass behavior the same in Japan as it is in the States, from what you can remember?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any difference at all. I think it's just because of how much pressure that they get. What makes them difficult to catch. I think that's the only thing. Yeah.
Well, like you were saying a while ago in that YouTube video, I mean, there was 20, 25 boats in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
pressure
on one of 4 or 5 lakes that are within a couple hours of you. So, I mean, just the amount of pressure. I mean, you think of a lake like Kentucky Lake, and that's the only lake that we have to fish for 400 miles.
Yeah.
And
everybody fishing ledges.
What's the most, terrifying thing that's going on right now is that, because of the social media is blowing up so fast right now, is that if I go on the lake and I catch a fish in the morning, and if I post something on my Instagram or Facebook, and if there's people on the lake who sees that, they know I'm on the lake, so they try to, find me where I am. So, it's pretty difficult to sneak around.
Yeah.
You don't have a wrap boat or anything, do you?
I have a Ranger's wrapped in carbon. Yeah, so it's kind of black.
Okay.
But I think everybody noticed me because, I'm a tall guy over here. So.
Okay.
And you're throwing a 11-inch swim bait too.
That's right. So I think everybody can notice me.
They can hear the splash. Splash.
Yeah.
You don't have a spinning rod in your hand, and
no.
So you mentioned sight fishing, and you mentioned Dion and Guido Hibden.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of the pros from the States have made trips over to Japan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you we were talking the other night about them.
Yeah.
Spent some time with them over in Japan?
Yeah, actually, after Dion won the Classic, and he was in the at that time they called it Team Daiwa Bass Fishing was called that, and Dion joined the Team Daiwa, and his dad was in Team Daiwa too. So after he won the classic, they wanted to do some kind of promotion in Japan. So they both, they brung Dion and Guido over here to Japan, and they were looking for a guy who could, speak fluent English and, trip it in the time over here. So I joined them, for about 2 weeks or so. Yeah, that's the first time when I met, Guido and Dion. Yeah, I was sleeping and eating with them for about 2 weeks. So, yeah, they taught me a lot of time.
We had Dion on the stream, and I
saw that. I saw that. It brought some tears to me because I haven't saw him for a long time. Yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah. So speaking English has definitely been a benefit for you. Oh yeah, check that out. Look at this. This is cool.
This is when they came over here. Yeah.
Of
course, the middle is me. And Dion and Guido. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the old school shirts.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. It's a cool piece of memorabilia.
Yeah. Yeah. I always keep this. I even fished with Larry Nixon when he came over here.
So where did you guys fish? What lake?
On Lake Biwa.
Okay.
Yeah. Larry Nixon taught me a lot too. Yeah. We fished on the same boat. Yeah. He taught me to use June bug color.
Was he throwing a plastic worm too?
Yeah, he was throwing a plastic worm. Yeah. Yeah. He was throwing a Texas rig on a plastic worm with the June bug color. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
RWA Fishing says, do any of the schools have bass fishing tournaments, or do they have bass fishing in high school at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. They even teach the kids in school that, because they're saying that bass is non-native species over here. They're teaching the, junior high school kids and things that's not a fish that belongs in Japan and things like that. So I don't think they'll be making any kind of club tournaments in high school or junior high school or anything like that. Yeah.
You don't want to encourage them to break the law at such a young age.
That'd be like having an Asian carp. The Asian carp has been invasive species over here. It's caused a lot of problems. That would be like an invasion carp tournament or bass club or something.
Right.
Well, that's sad that they. That's sad that they want to get rid of
There's a neat story. When they were trying to pull that, in native species law, 20-something years ago. Actually, the fishing industry in Japan they went through the Japanese government, and they got a hold of, I think it was, the president was Mr. Bush at that time when that 9/11 occurred.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Actually, there was a schedule that Mr. Bush was coming over to Japan, and at that moment in Japan, the prime minister over here was Mr. Koizumi, and he was going to do bass fishing in Japan with Mr. Koizumi.
Oh, yeah.
On the lake over here. They had it all set it up and everything, and that 9/11 occurred. So I think Mr. Bush was going to, ask Mr. Koizumi to not, make that, non-native law over here in Japan, because, the bass fishing in the States is, really, famous. And if you use it the correct way, more tax will come in to the government, like things like that. But because
that's just one more bad thing about the Taliban. They screwed up.
It is. Yeah, it is.
A really good fishing trip.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Jeez.
Well, so it doesn't sound like even with the law, it doesn't sound like you guys get hassled at ramps.
No, you don't. No.
When you have a tournament or anything like that. So
no, they don't say anything at all, because there's no fine or, they just keep it that way, in the gray zone.
Is there anybody over there that's like don't bass fish. Bass
No.
fishing is bad.
Well, I don't want to say no, but there is some people, taking videos of you, catching a fish and releasing them back into the lake,
Mm-hmm.
But, you have to catch those people when they're actually, how you say it, in that motion, right? When they're actually doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So
you don't have people picketing on the corner with signs going, kill all the bass, kill all the bass. Okay.
No, we don't have that problem. So it's not so bad.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you have crawdads or crayfish in that lake?
Yeah, we do. We have the red ones that you have in the States.
The red ones. Okay.
Yeah. And we have the Japanese ones too. They're a little bit more kind of a brownish kind of color.
Okay.
Yeah. We have freshwater shrimps too. So, yeah.
So is there anything that you buy from the States?
You mean what? Tackle wise?
Fishing wise?
Tackle wise, yeah.
Yeah, I buy a lot of tackle from Tackle Warehouse.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think they're the most famous online store in Japan.
Oh wow.
That's how much they ship over here to Japan.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. They're pretty big over here. Yeah.
We complain about having to pay $5 for shipping. I can't imagine what shipping is over there.
We don't have free shipping like you guys have over there.
You can't get it. You're saying you can't get it in 2 days?
Oh, I can't get it in 2 days, but I can get it in 4 days.
Well, that's good. That's really good.
That's good.
4 days.
That's good. Yeah.
You said 4 days?
4 days.
That's not bad.
Airplane.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. If you order it on a Sunday, they'll get it out on Monday, and it'll be in Japan on Thursday.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's real good. Yeah.
Well, you gotta think though that Sunday your time or Sunday your day or Sunday our day?
Sunday our day.
Okay.
So it's going to be on Saturday on your day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still really quick. I thought it would take like
quick.
at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it comes with comes by FedEx or something. Yeah. So it's pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your competition, bud.
Yeah. Gary says it's Dream with a D Express Lures.
Yeah, it's a D. It's not a B.
Okay.
Yeah. Dream Express Lures.
Oh, Whitewell Fishing wants to get back to the Pinky. The
Pinky Deluxe.
Pinky Deluxe. He says talk about that lip on the smaller bait. And is it removable?
It's removable. All you have to do is just twist it on your side and it comes out. It just fits in like this.
Okay.
It's just hard when you take it off. You have to keep it that way because when you cast it out there and because it's this Pinky Deluxe is about 2.5 ounces, 2.5 ounces. So it's a pretty big bait. And if you keep it this hard, it won't come out so easy when you're casting it.
So does it have similar action as the Triple Deluxe?
It's the same action when you take the lip off. It's the S motion.
Okay.
And if you put the lip on, it's like a crankbait. Yeah.
It's a big crankbait.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And actually, you can use this. This is a smaller lip. And we have 2 different types of lips. We have this is the shallow runner, and we have the mid runner.
So it's a longer bill.
It's a longer bill.
Is that a slow float as well?
This is a slow float, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually the smaller lip, you can use it like this, or you can, flip it over and it'll go slightly more deeper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But the medium lip is you can use it on one way, so you can put it in. Yeah.
Does it come with both lips when you order those?
It comes with the medium lip.
Okay.
So you have to buy the shallow lip, yeah. So you can buy the spare tails in, let's see, 8 different colors. Yeah.
Are you using a 1/0 hook on that or a 2/0?
This is it's not a 1/0. It's a number 1. It's a number 1 on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah. I changed these hooks too. So regularly it comes with the owner hook. So yeah.
So you were talking about the other night, we were talking about the triple deluxe. Like if you cast it out and you start reeling, and then you were talking about if you twitch it once, it wants to it dives down a little bit, and then if you
it does that
twitch
jet
it
coaster.
again,
Yeah, if you pull it down towards if you pull your rod tip downwards, it goes and does a jet coaster turn like this.
okay.
And it dives about a foot. And what I always do is that when I start to retrieve it a little bit and it starts to swim in the water, I do the twitch about 3 times and I get it down to about 3 feet. And then I start my retrieve. So actually you can go down, if you keep doing the twitch, it'll go down, that similar depth every time. So you can go down to about 10 feet and start to retrieve. So you can do it all kinds of ways. Yeah. It's pretty
really
neat.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you throw that, are you using any forward-facing sonar?
No, I don't use that new technique now. No, not now, but I don't have it. I don't have it now. Yeah.
Okay.
I use Lowrance, but I only have the down scan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only have the down scan. So yeah, I want the new kind of technique, but I still want to stick to the old technique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there guys over there that have all the new stuff?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have Garmin, they have the Humminbird, they have the Lowrance, forward facing sonar. Yeah, a lot of people have it, and a lot of people having a lot of success with it too. So, yeah, so expensive over here.
It's not cheap over here either.
Yeah, I think it costs twice as much as you pay over there.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
So a Garmin 1022,
yeah,
like a 10-inch Garmin graph with the live scope, you can get it for a little less than 3,000 American dollars.
So it'll cost 6,000 over here.
Wow.
That's like that's base model.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
do you guys have muskie? Do you have muskie in Japan?
No muskie. No muskie at all. No muskie and no pike. No walleye. Yeah. No stripers. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I was supported by Lowrance when I was in the Pro Series a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, the CEO of Lowrance came over to Japan, and I met him at a tournament over here, and I talked to him. Because I could speak English, I talked to him, and after that, we had about a 10-year so relationship with Lowrance. So I just still use my Lowrance. Yeah. I think my models are old too. I don't have live units right now, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm kind of like you. I've been saving up for the live scope, but
yeah.
The way I look at it, I haven't seen much technology that just makes me want to go out and spend another $5,000, $6,000 just to upgrade. So
I think it depends on the way you fish. You want to fish, yeah.
Mags wants to know, why do so many new techniques come out of Japan?
Because of the high pressure. I think it's just because of the high pressure. Yeah. You guys do a lot of nickel rig, right?
Yeah.
The wacky style.
Right.
When I first did that was about over 30 years ago. So it took a long time to go to the States. I don't know why, but it took a long time to go to the States.
So there's still, you don't have to disclose any of this, but are there things that you guys do there that we're not doing here still?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I talked about a bait. I have I think I did that in English on my YouTube channel. I was talking about a ghost rig, what I call the ghost rig. And what it is that it's a lure that doesn't have any kind of action at all. And it's a you have the spy baits in the States, right? With the props on it. It's a more subtle bait than that. You don't have props on it. And what you do is you just cast it out there and you get your spinning rod tip up and you just slowly retrieve it. And it creates kind of a V shape on the top of the surface. So it looks like a minnow or something, you know, hovering on the surface. And the bass go crazy on that.
Wow.
I think you can catch a lot of smallmouth on that.
How long is it?
It's only about this long. It's
4
only
inches,
about
3 inches?
4 inches.
So about the
Three-
size of a Swimbaits.
Yeah, it's about the same size as a Swimbaits. Yeah.
Is it the same? Does it look like the Swimbaits? Does it have
It
treble
looks
hook
like
on it?
it looks like close to the Swimbaits. It doesn't have any props, nothing. It's just like a lipless jerkbait.
Huh.
Does it
Yeah.
float?
It floats, yeah. It's really popular over here. I think
makes sense.
I think Jackal was the first one who came out with it. There's a certain plug that they use for that kind of technique, and it's getting more and more, you know, a lot of people are using it over here in Japan, and a lot of companies are coming out with that kind of bait over here. Yeah, they're even doing it with the soft plastics too, you know, with like a fluke style bait. They're using that small nose hook, and they're just nose hooking the fluke in the front, and without putting any kind of weights in there, they just cast it out there and they just retrieve it on the surface, and it creates that same kind of V, you know, on the surface, and the bass go crazy on that.
So that's something that you got to throw on like super slick, no wind days.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't do it on a windy day. No.
Well, it
no.
reminds me of the shore minnows or the fathead minnows. You see the little minnows, and they just swim real slow on top of the water.
Well, that's something that I learned a handful of years ago in a tournament fishing with a guy, and he would do the same thing, but he would take like a bomber long A,
Yeah,
and just high stick it with a spinning rod, and it would instead of just one V, it was more like a
it wake on the
It's a
surface.
finesse wake bait kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
almost.
It is. Yeah.
and that's not something that you see a lot, but you got to have the right conditions to throw that. That's not something that you can just go out and chuck and wind.
Yeah. But I think nowadays, you know, because of the internet, you know, a lot of the people in the States are, you know, getting more, well, they're getting a lot more information faster than it used to, you know. There's a rig that I didn't even know about that came on the internet in the States, you know, a few weeks ago, that, you know, straight worm with where they it moves up and down like a worm, like an earthworm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what was that called?
I don't remember what it's called.
They got really
I don't
popular.
remember the name.
Yeah, they got really popular.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing a video on it.
There was a tournament a couple months ago. It was one of the top 50 tournaments over here in Japan. Actually, one of the pro anglers was fishing that tournament. He won that tournament with that rig. That's why it got so famous, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
He was catching fish like crazy.
It is a Inu rig.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Hella
I
bass.
don't even know what Inu means.
Hellabass says it's the
Oh yeah, it is.
Jackal Sierra Minnow 80.
Yeah, that's
high
right.
motion.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. A lot of companies over here in Japan have that kind of bait. So, yeah, it might blast off in the States. I don't know. It's blasting off over here in Japan.
Jay Beffa says he's ready to come to Japan.
Okay.
You got him all fired up.
Oh yeah.
How did bass get to Japan? Any idea?
What I heard is that after the war, you know, there was a lot of people, you know, a lot of Americans still over here in Japan, and actually, MacArthur, was the top guy in the war.
General MacArthur.
Yeah. When he came over here, he was talking to, you know, the emperor over here in Japan. They actually decided to bring some kind of hobby to the military people that were still in Japan. And I heard that a lot of the people who lived in the southern part of the states were actually recruited to the war. And because they lived in the southern part of the state, United States, they were actually relayed to the bass fishing a lot more. So they decided to bring the bass to Japan, and they bring it to Tokyo by plane. And from Tokyo, they put it on a train and bring it to Kyoto. And I heard they put it in Lake Biwa. So it was a long time ago.
But that's where you live at, is Kyoto, right?
Yeah, Kyoto. Yeah. But Biwa is in a different state, if you want to call it state or not. Yeah, it's in the Shiga prefecture. Yeah. It's just next to Kyoto. Yeah.
So what do you call? You don't call them states? You're different areas, or what do you call
prefectures? They call them prefecture. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why they don't call them states. I rather call them states. It's a lot more easier to talk about it. Yeah.
BX Cloud wants to know any JDM tackle shops you recommend to order from?
I don't know if they send them to the States or not. There's a couple that send to the States, but I think actually a lot of the brands actually have their own official web shop, and I think they sell them directly to the people internationally. So I think it's better off going to their homepage or something and ordering directly to the brands or something.
Hammy says Megabass Vision 110s need replacement bills, like your Pinky Deluxe.
Like Pinky Deluxe, yeah. We have different Vision 110s over here. They don't sell them in the States.
Are they different makeup,
bill-wise,
colors,
and weight-wise?
Oh,
they have different ones over here in Japan. Yeah, there's a guy over here, a famous tournament angler. He's only guiding on Lake Biwa right now, and he has a contract with Megabass for the Vision 110. And he gave out some ideas to Megabass for the Vision 110, and they made some exclusive Vision 110s for him. And I heard that they only sell them in Japan right now. Yeah, they came out with 3 or 4 series over here in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they don't ship them. You have to.
Yeah, you have to buy them over here. Yeah. I think you can notice them because they're in a different package. Yeah. I don't actually know the names, but I heard that they don't sell them in the States.
See, now that we have an insider in Japan though now. And
yeah, call me up anytime,
Are they just as expensive in Japan as they are here?
I don't know.
Are Megabass just as expensive in Japan as they are here?
How much are they in the States?
$25.
So yeah, they're a little bit more cheaper over here.
Okay.
I think about $6 to $5 cheaper over here in Japan. Yeah.
I thought he was going to say $6 or $5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they're about what, $18 over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not so bad.
That's about what a Lucky Craft is over here. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of looking through these comments here for some checking out the questions here. Yeah, Darius said the redfin. That's an old
like
school
the precursor of the
redfin.
Long
A. The one you use in the ocean, right? The cotton cordell or something.
Yep.
Yeah, cotton cordell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I found out about that is Table Rock, Jay.
I got to talk about the bait that was talking about.
Yeah.
You remember? That weird bait. This one, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, check that out.
We were talking about the other day.
Yeah, because somebody was just talking about Bull Shoals Lake.
Yeah. Well, this is a bait actually was introduced to me when I was working with that tackle store a long time ago. And we went to do a contract with at that time was Cobra Boats, and it changed to Viper Boats, and now it's a company called Legend Boats. And at that time, that boat was designed by a guy who designed Champion Boats, and his name was John Story. And actually, we went there to, talk about the boat and see the boat and how it was made and things like that before we brought it back to Japan. And we had an opportunity to go to fish on Bull Shoals. That was close to Mountain Home. I think that was the closest lake there. And it was in the wintertime. And he told the staff at the boat company to take me to the tackle store and grab a couple of baits that they were going to use on the lake. And the guy who took me to the tackle store told me to grab these baits. And first time I saw it, they were in a package like this, and they were stapled on a cardboard. And there were only whites and yellows and blacks. So I grabbed a couple of whites and a couple of blacks, and they took me out on a lake. And the way they used it at that time was they had a skirt on here, and actually the skirt was so old, so I had to peel it off. But they had an old skirt, old-fashioned kind of flat type skirt on there, and they put some kind of a pork rindo type bait on there, and they matched the pork bait with the head color, so they put a white pork piece on the back. And actually, what this does is that you tie your line on the front end of it. And am I showing this correct?
Yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect.
Okay. You tie your line on the eyelid right here, and what it does is that because you have that high flotation pork on here, this head actually, when it's falling, it moves between the wire like this. So what this does is that when it falls like this arm actually prevents the hook getting stuck in the timber and things like that. And when you pull it up, it goes like this, and it starts to go up, and the blade spins all the time. So it's a pretty neat bait.
Yeah, that's really cool. You showed that to me, and I was like, it seems like I've seen that, but I don't know that I have. I thought it was cool. Show them how it breaks down if you want to put it in your tackle box.
Because the shape like this, it's pretty hard to store in your box or something. So what you do is you pull the arms together like this, and you just push down on it, and it goes like this, and it goes in your jig box.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Goes in your jig box.
Now, is that something that you brought back from the States?
Yes, I brought this back from the States when I was around, I think, 28 years old. So I'm 54 right now. So it was a long time ago.
Wow.
And at that time, there was no such thing as internet.
Yeah.
So no one knew about this in Japan. And I don't think hardly anybody knew about it in the States, because it was only sold in that Mountain Home area. If you go to a couple of tackle stores, mom and pop tackle stores, every single store had it, but they were made originally about of the person who was doing the store. It was handmade by them. Yeah.
All right, we need some help here.
We need some translation.
Oh, he's saying konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah.
That's a lot for hello.
I think it's lunchtime over here, so I think there's a couple of people watching right now
On their lunch break.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's
that's a cool bait. Yeah.
It's sold in that White River kind of reservoir area.
I got to go down there in a couple weeks. I got to check that out. See if I can.
Yeah, you got to check them out. I think they might still have them. Yeah, it's a pretty neat bait. I never saw them in other states. Only saw them in Mountain Home, Arkansas Mountain Home. Yeah.
The Rosa said another one out of the bag.
Yeah.
Made by Lunker Lure.
Yeah, there were probably a couple of companies that made them, but that's not in production anymore, from what I know.
I think I've seen a couple baits like this, but the head doesn't move like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like spinner baits.
That's key too. That swing head that swings up in
this is the
between
key.
those arms.
Yeah, you have to have this to, guard the hook between the, when I was told at that moment where to use this is where the bluff, you have the bluff and you have the standing timber, and you only use it when it's on the fall, and they'll eat this on the fall. That's the only time when this bait really, shines. So it's in the winter, in the fall season or in the winter time. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I caught a lot of fish on that over here in Japan. I only have 2 now.
I'm surprised you haven't started making them yet.
Yeah, I tried to, but I can't get to the, position well. I like the bait that I made. It doesn't work good as this one. You have to perfect it. So
Gotcha.
It's going to take me a little while. I have tried.
So somebody was asking about, since the water is so clear on Biwa and there's so much fishing pressure, do you have to downsize your line a lot? I mean, you're saying you're throwing 25-pound test on your swim bait.
Yeah.
But finesse tactics, say if you were going to throw a drop shot or a Neko rig,
you want me to tell you how thin we go on pound test?
Yeah. Yeah. Scare us.
Well, when I was fishing the tournaments, the top league tournaments, and we go to a small fishery, we actually went down to 2 pounds.
Holy cow.
2-pound fluorocarbon line. That was the main line. And we caught, a pound or 2-pound smallmouth on that because of the spinning tackles, the drag's so good right now. We were able to, land the fish. So we go pretty thin. Yeah.
2 pound.
We use 2 pound for trout fishing.
For trout.
Yeah, for trout, yeah.
But that's on a fly rod too.
Wow.
So
but you don't like finesse fishing though, right?
I don't want to say I don't like it, because when I was doing tournaments, I did do a lot of finesse fishing because I had to. But now if I don't want to do it, if I don't have to do it, I don't want to do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. I'll talk about finesse fishing is that because I'm with Sunline for over 30 years, I still have a line. This was a line that they, came out with it a long time ago. It actually has my name on it, Jun Shoji. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it has
I've seen
that
line.
Japanese word on there, metan.
Meton.
Yeah, this is a fluorocarbon leader that I came out with a really long time ago, about 20 years ago. And what I was doing with this leader was that at that time, I don't think in the States anybody was using, braided line on spinning tackle. They were using, fluorocarbon. And it was the same in Japan, but we were using regularly on the tournaments over here, we were using about 4 pounds fluorocarbon lines on spinning tackle. And what happens is that if you catch a big fish, if you catch an 8-pound fish on 4-pound fluorocarbon line and he swallows that bait, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
And what I do is, this is a 7-pound leader. I put this leader on the 4-pound fluorocarbon where you rig your rig up. So you still have the 4-pound, castability, but you have 7-pound fluorocarbon leader on where the bass might, swallow your bait, and you might get ripped off by his mouth or something. But this helped really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, 4-pound test on the teeth of a bass when he's fighting versus 7-pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
What is do you throw the braid to fluoro leaders?
Yeah, I do.
What's your knot that you prefer?
I use a sergeant knot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
They call it the sergeant knot.
Okay.
They might be called in different ways, but I Googled it and it said it's called the sergeant knot.
Okay.
You know, the sergeant in the military. Yeah, sergeant knot.
Oh, the
Yeah.
sergeant knot. Okay.
Well,
Sergeant
because
knot.
the FG knot is really popular. Here.
Mine's really simple. I think I could be able to show it to you.
Yeah, show it to us. I'm wondering if it's close to
Let me get
Alberto.
some kind of.
It's the J Blatel.
It's the J Blatel.
It's the J Blatel.
Yeah. This is some really, you know, this is some floor leader for the ocean. It's about, I think, 100 pounds or something.
Okay.
I just use it to show it to you.
That's your drop shot leader?
Yeah, just drop shot leader. Yeah. Yeah. Power finish
Power
drop
shot, yeah.
Yeah. All you do is you take 2 pieces of line, right? One comes from your rod, and this is your leader, and you double it up like this, and you double it up maybe what, a foot or so, 12 inches or so, and
Okay.
you make a loop with both lines like this. You can get that, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And what you do is the leader side. This is the leader side, and
Okay.
you pull through this leader through the knot 3 times,
Okay.
like this.
Yep.
And all you do is just have to pull this, and it creates a knot.
Yeah. That's like a surgeon's knot,
yep.
triple surgeon's knot.
Yep.
Yeah. We call that a triple surgeon
Oh,
knot.
okay, yeah, triple surgeon's knot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the simplest, and I never had so much problem with it, so I just still use this. Yeah.
I think that's all of us. So for me, it was I
Mhm.
tied uni to uni knot.
Yeah,
for
uni knot.
years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we were actually at Kentucky Lake and we were preparing for a tournament, and I kept breaking it. Every time I tied, I break it. Every time I tied, I break it. So the next like 2 weeks, I spent learning how to tie a new knot.
Oh yeah.
And I showed it to him on the next tournament, and he's like, "Man, that was awesome.
It's super simple.
Super fast, super quick."
The Alberto knot.
I think 3 times, you know, you go through it 3 times. I think 3 times is a key.
Right.
If you go 5 times, I think the knot gets weaker.
Mhm.
So more than 4 times is no good. I think 3 times is the best. And if you're worried, all you do is take the braid, the left braided part, the braid line, and you do some kind of a loop knot on a fluorocarbon.
Like a half hitch.
Half hitch, yeah, half hitch. You do it, what, 4 or 5 times? And
Okay.
that'll help a lot too. Yeah.
Huh.
What's your thoughts on the mag draft?
Mag draft, Swimbait, Megabass
Yes.
Swimbait. It's not so popular over here in Japan. I don't know why, but you know, it's so popular in the States and even in Australia. You know, they're catching that mollycod, you know, fish over there in Australia. It's so famous over there. But it's not famous over here in Japan. Hardly anybody uses it over here.
Wow.
Yeah, so different.
They're all using that triple deluxe, aren't they?
Nah, I wish they did. We have a lot of companies out here, so.
All right. So what about that Franken
Oh.
Jig Head? You got to show us that too.
That was the first thing that
so-
I called him about was that Scrounger head.
Yeah. So Kentucky Lake
Uh-huh.
and the Scrounger Head,
Yeah.
real popular combination. So when I saw
it
the Franken Jig Head, I was like, that's
yeah.
a Scrounger, but it's a different Scrounger.
Yeah.
It's really
I know.
neat.
What it was is that I got into the Scrounger Jig Head about 10 years ago, and we didn't have such thing over here in Japan. The only way we can get it was, you know, from the States. So I bought a couple of Lucky Strike Scrounger Jig Heads from Tackle Warehouse. And I tried it over here and I caught a lot of fish. And automatically, you know, I fell in love with the Scrounger Jig Head. But when I was using the Scrounger Jig Head, a couple years later, Lucky Strike redesigned their head, and they came out with a round type Scrounger Jig Head. not an oval type Scrounger jig head. And the recent one, what I was using, it was an oval type. And the new one they came out with was a round one. And what it did was that when you put a round whole lip on a round head, it just rotates on the head. So it never, did the same action. And I was so frustrated about that because I like the, Lucky Strike, Scrounger jig heads. And that's when I thought, maybe I could, design a new type head to, get rid of these problems. And maybe I didn't like the way the lip changes colors when you use it. It starts to, fade out and it gets brown and it gets hard and things like that. So I changed that kind of concept to I'm using a silicone type material right now that I get in Japan. And why I call it Franken is because of the head shape. It's square, and Frankenstein has a kind of square head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I call it Franken Jig Head. And why I made it square is because, like I told you, if it's a round head, the lip, accidentally moves around inside the head. And if you keep it square, you have 4 edges and the lip holds place on the head. So you won't have any, problems, lip switching all over the place.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what sizes do those come in?
I have the 3/8 and the 1/2 ounce, and I'm making the 5/8 and the what do you call it? The
3/4.
quarter ounce?
Three-quarter or quarter ounce smaller?
Three-quarter.
Three-quarter. Okay.
Three-quarter, yeah.
I
Yeah,
like the fact that the lead on that, the shank of the hook,
uh-huh.
isn't so thick.
Yeah.
On that Lucky Strike, it's so thick, and it just your baits just want to slide right back down it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. These are pretty thin, I think.
Yeah.
And it holds the bait pretty good. And I actually, on these big size heads, I put a 8-inch soft jerk bait on there. So, and it's
What size hook is on that?
it's a 5/0. It's a 7/0 Gamakatsu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So it's pretty steady. Yeah. It'll catch some big fish.
Yeah. And then you have don't you have a bait called the scramble minnow or
Scramble shad. That's
scramble shad?
That's our soft jerk bait. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at those last night online, and it's pretty unique bait.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's real thin.
Hold it the other way. I want to see
how much it let the tail fall down. Like hold the tail up. Hold the tail up.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh,
okay,
soft.
so it's real.
It's real soft. Yeah, this is a 6-inch version. We have the 4.5 and the 6-inch, and we have the 8-inch. And when I first designed this soft jerk bait, real thin type, soft jerk bait, actually, I already had an image in me that I wanted to, design this jig head. And I went with this thin design so you'll get that, rolling action on this, Scrounger jet type jig head. Yeah, it works pretty good. I caught a lot of fish this year.
Now, do you ever fish that with just a big Texas rig?
Texas, I use it with an offset rig, with a nose sinker.
Uh-huh.
Like a soft jerk bait. It works really good. I think I never tried it with a Texas rig though. Yeah.
Yeah, those are neat. I like that.
Now, and all of that is sold in the States at Carolina Fishing?
I don't think they have these right now.
Okay.
But they were thinking of, buying some from me, so they might in the future.
Can anybody order from you from the States, directly from you?
Not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm working on a web shop on. Oh, I forgot what it is. Simplify. It's a free kind of where you can build your free web shop.
Okay.
And I'm going to use that web shop exclusively for people from the States or from international. Yeah, I'm working on that right now. So that's going to be It's going to be coming up in a month or so. Yeah, I'm
Oh, good
working on
deal.
it. Yeah, I caught a lot of fish on this 3/8.5 ounce Franken Head this summer. A lot of fish on it. And
do you have different size bills for it?
I only have one size for one head. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
they're all different. Yeah, they're all different. Yeah. When I first started designing it, I couldn't believe how, what do you want to call it? So sensitive it is. The shape of the lip and the length and the width and the thickness. It drives me crazy.
So you had it, a lot of hours out there.
Yeah,
On the testing.
gee. Took me a long time. Yeah. Even a guy from Scott Barrow.
Scottsboro.
Scottsboro Tackle.
Yeah. They even, DM me when I was starting to make this, and they were asking me what kind of material I was using for the lip.
Yeah.
And I told me I was using some kind of silicone type, lip, and said, "Oh, thank you." I think he was in some kind of search mode for a lip material or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's the best all-time Japanese angler that we have never heard of?
You never heard of? Oh. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of good anglers over here in Japan. And I think one of the guys that I might mention is a really big mentor in the bass fishing industry. His name is Mr. Imai. And he also has a brand called Imakatsu. Yeah, they're in Tackle Warehouse.
Okay.
They're selling my Tackle Warehouse, Imakatsu. Yeah.
Imakatsu.
Is that the IMA?
Yeah, IMA. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a really popular guy over here, and yeah, we did a lot of close tournaments together. But I think every time we were close in tournaments, I think he beat me, and I was in second place, and he was in first. Yeah, we did a lot of good tournaments. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of mentors in the fishing industry over here. Even like the person who does the company OSP.
Mm-hmm.
He was fishing in the BSS and the FLW over there.
I can't think of his name.
I just forgot his name. Jeez.
People out there, help us in the comments section.
Namiki. Yeah, he was. I think he won a FLW tournament on. Oh, I forgot. Jeez. He won one of the tournaments on the FLW tournament a long time ago. Yeah. He's with the Team Dava too, and he's got his own brand called OSP. I think they sell a lot of them in the States right now. Even I was watching a BSS tournament a couple of years ago on, I think it was a smallmouth lake on Champlain or something. And Seth Fighter was leading the tournament, and he was cranking on smallmouth, and it was a pretty odd thing for me to see, because a lot of people, when they go up there, they do a lot of finesse fishing, right? And he was cranking, and it's geez, and catching, big fish after, fish. And all of a sudden, I looked in the screen and said, oh gosh, he's using a OSP crankbait, and every time he catches it was St. Clair. Yeah, I think he won that tournament. And every time he catches a fish, he takes the crankbait and throws it on the side of his boat, because he was sponsored by a different company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to hide stuff now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they're on live and things. Yeah. But I think they're so, in that pro mode. Even after the tournaments, they say that they're using a La Pala, so. I think I think that's what a pro should do. But, you know, it's pretty difficult, but I think they're supposed to do it because they're supported from, you know, their companies. But, you know, some parts of, you know, when they're getting some kind of interviews or something, you know, the interviewers noticed that they were using a different baits, you know, and they say, yeah, I was, you know, they give out the secret little by little, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It
funny.
usually takes a couple weeks for it to all come out.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's usually like you said with the live and how good the cameras are.
Yeah.
You know, if it was live 20 years ago, we would
Uh-huh.
have just saw that he was throwing something that
Yeah.
resembled a crankbait.
But here's the
Yeah.
deal. I'm sure when they're not on that angler, there's a conversation that goes on between
Oh,
the
I
guy
could
in the
only
front of the
imagine.
boat and
Yeah.
the camera.
Yeah. I should. Yeah. Yeah. It should be. Yeah.
Right.
You know, if several years ago, you know, I didn't think the cameraman would care. So he would zoom into the bait,
Yeah.
even if they were using a different bait that they were sponsored by. But, you know, recently when I watched the, you know, the Elite Series, they don't zoom in the bait so much. You know, they just, you know, zoom
Yeah.
out. You know, I think there's a talk going on between the, you know, cameraman and anglers.
Yeah, you
You know,
don't see KVD throwing a mega bass jerk
no,
bait.
I don't. No, 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 never, 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 never. Yeah, he might never does. You know, he's really restricted to his, you know, honest to his companies that he's working with. Yeah.
I think there was one video when they were up north and he was throwing.
Oh, the dual
Yeah,
spy bait. Yeah, that's
Those,
when that.
those so we've had Mark Menendez on, and he's a
Yeah,
long
yeah, I
time.
saw that live too. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a long time Strike King
yeah, he
bait
is.
company,
Yeah,
and we kind of asked him about that. If
yeah.
do you ever fish another manufacturer's baits? And he
Mhm.
says he will try everything within the Strike King lineup
Okay.
to make it work.
Uh-huh.
And if for some reason he thinks that he can catch them on something else, then
uh-huh.
he will try that other bait. But he said it's very rare that he has to
Okay.
switch to a different company.
So he sticks to the Strike King lures.
He sticks to the Strike
very
King.
loyal.
Very loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, a company like Strike King has so many different baits. They have so
Yeah,
many
they
hard
do.
baits, so many soft
They do,
plastics,
yeah.
so many colors that
Yeah.
you can keep moving through the rotation and
Yeah.
usually find something that's going to work.
Their lure lineup is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate sponsor group right there, is Strike King, just
Yeah.
because of the breadth and depth of what they have.
Yeah.
So
How
So-
how famous is K-Tech over there? K-Tech.
Oh, Kitech?
oh,
It's very, very popular.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd say I bet it's the number one swim bait, small swim bait
Yeah.
for sure.
It's called the K-Tech over here.
K-Tech.
K-Tech.
Yeah. K-Tech.
I'm gonna write that down.
Actually, they were one of my first sponsors when I first went up to the top 50 tournaments in Japan.
Really?
The president of K-Tech, his name was Mr. Hayashi Kenichi, and he gave me a call and he wanted to sponsor me because I was stepping up to the top 50. He was one of the first sponsors that I got.
That's
And he
awesome.
told
So
me,
how long has K-Tech been around? Any idea?
oh, for over 30 years now.
Holy cow.
And you said Sunline's been around for over 30 years too.
I've been sponsored by Sunline for over 30 years.
Okay.
So they've been around for a long time.
So Sunline's huge in the States too. I mean, it's
huge in
definitely
Japan
one of the
too.
top fluorocarbons.
Yeah. Mhm. So they still have my signature line called the Super FC Sniper Invisible, that camouflage line, that fluorocarbon line. That's under my name.
Okay.
So they're still selling that line for over 20 years now. So I still have a good relationship with them too. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So over in Japan,
Mhm.
have you ever heard any kind of Sasquatch or Bigfoot sightings on the island there?
No, I never do.
There's not a like Japanese Sasquatch at all?
No, I never heard of it before. But
Never heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if maybe your great grandma told a story about a Sasquatch that did
Yeah.
something or another.
People over here are really small, so there might be a Bigfoot over here.
I was just gonna say that. You're talking about
Yeah.
how tall you are.
I'm 6'2".
I think we already got a
I
winner.
think I'm 6'2". A little bit over 6'2". I think so, yeah. I'm pretty big over here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're about the same. We're actually, you're 6'2", aren't you?
I'm 6'2", yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'1.5". So yeah,
I got that half inch on you.
I'd say I mean, 5'10's probably average height. Maybe
yeah.
It's getting
maybe
taller and taller.
Yeah, it's
in the
getting taller and
States.
taller.
It's the same over here in Japan. You know, a lot of the young guys are, getting taller. You know, you can see on, the pro basketball over there in Japan. There's a lot of, Japanese people going over there too, Yeah. They're getting bigger. I think that I think McDonald's is doing something.
It might be.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I thought we saw a winner somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm not sure yet.
Winner?
We're kind of scrolling through.
Oh, yeah.
When we ask the question,
Okay.
the numbers start coming through pretty quick.
Oh, okay. So they just say a number?
Yeah, they guess a number, and whoever
Oh,
guesses the right number wins.
Okay.
They come in hot and heavy.
Oh, they do. Oh, there's a close one. Jeez. I saw two close ones. Neck and neck.
Let's see.
Okay, we just scrolled up to the top. Now we're coming back down. If you see it, let me know.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
We got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Is it close to oh, there it is. I found it.
It's all the way at the top.
Yeah.
It's Jay Beffa.
Yeah.
Well, Jay doesn't need any more hogs. I do know that. Because Jay is part of Hawgz Custom Baits. So Hawgz Custom Baits is one of the companies that's been helping me out.
Okay.
And Jay is with them, so he's got plenty of hogs. But we can send him some Cumberland
Maybe some
Pro.
baits that I'll send to you.
What's that?
Maybe some baits that I'll send to you.
Yeah, there you go. I know he doesn't have any of those for sure.
Yeah. I gotta send you some of these.
Oh
yeah, that's right up my alley. Let me see.
Well, this was actually bait that I made inspired by your video. So
really, that's awesome,
dude. That's cool.
This is a spinner bait that I handmade myself. It's called a treasure hunt spinner bait. It has a real thin head to it, so it'll swivel through the grass real good.
How heavy is that?
This is a 3/4.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we have the silver with a little bit more shiny head to it. And we have these. You might like these better. We have these.
Yeah.
Is that white and chartreuse?
It is, yes.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Sexy shad kind of thing. And this is the 5/8 head. And we have the same blade on there.
How does it run with the 5/8 with that blade on it?
Oh, it has a lot of vibration.
It does.
It has a lot of thump to it. Yeah. I'll send you
what size blade is that?
This is, I think, a number 8.
That's bigger than what
No, that's about
is that,
7 and 8 is what I usually throw.
It is, yeah. I think I have them in a 7 and 8. Yeah. I get a lot of these baits from a company in the States called Worth Company.
Okay.
Worth Part Company. Yeah. Parts Company. I do a lot of blade. I import a lot of blades from them. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both kind of like that big spinner bait. He throws the Colorado, where I'll throw 2 giant like willow leaves or
willow leaves. Yeah.
Rick Klon, his what is his spinner bait called? The Trickster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Trickster. Yeah.
That one thumps really, really hard too.
Oh,
but you got to buy the 3/4 ounce model, not the 1/2 ounce model.
Oh, okay.
It's got different blades on it, and he didn't release that 3/4 for a while.
It's got Indiana blades on it, right? Or one of them does.
It's a weird blade. It's his own blade. Yeah, it's like a teardrop blade on it, and that one thumps just as hard as the big Colorado.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to try that out. I was really curious.
So,
Hammy, I get excited. I'm sorry.
yeah, there's nothing
Bass
better.
RX says he likes the spinner bait.
There's nothing better than a big spinnerbait in the springtime and just dirty, muddy water.
I was so surprised that you were catching those fish in, shallow water and that, in that kind of temperature. So yeah.
Well, they were pre-spawn, moving up, and and the water was so cold that I was thinking, typically people are going to throw a jerk bait when the water's 41, 42 degrees. And the water was so stained, I want to say it was about a foot of visibility. And you can still catch fish on a jerk bait in a foot of visibility, but it's not the best thing to throw. So I was, I knew that we were in the pre-spawn mode, and I knew that the fish were going to start coming up shallow, and there's grass in that lake, so their fish are usually around grass most of the time, but I didn't know if they would hit an actual spinner bait. And I just kind of started doing some experimentation, and it turned out to be a pretty good bait to throw in that situation. So now it's something that I always keep in the boat that time of year.
Yeah. I'm going to get these to you so you can try them over there.
Yeah.
You'll definitely use the heavy ones, right?
Yeah, 3/4.
Yeah,
that's what I throw usually.
I haven't designed the 1 ounce head yet, so I have the 3/4 and the 5/8 and the 1/2 ounce and 3/8. I have them 4 different sizes. So,
do you use that same head, that same wire design for?
Yeah, they're
Colorado and Willows.
There's a slight, size difference in the heads, but the design is the same. Yeah. And the arm is offsetted a little bit. It doesn't come straight out of the front end.
Oh, right? Yeah, I see.
It's offsetted a little bit on the bottom. It's because I wanted to, go through the grass a lot more better.
Right.
Yeah. That's real thin.
Now, do you throw willows on there too?
The normal ones that we sell are double willows.
What size willows do you throw in there?
I think the 3/4, we have the 5 on the back and 4s on the front.
Have you tried anything bigger on that?
Not yet.
Yeah, we fish willow a lot too, or on the grass.
That means you want me to try it,
right? I would greatly appreciate that, because the covert, the Booyah covert, they have I think it's a 5 or a 6 on the back.
Okay.
And I'd like to see that like a 7.
Okay.
You want it even bigger, huh?
Oh, I love that, because the covert and that trickster have about the same thump.
Okay.
Just a little more flash on that covert, because you got a blade that's on there.
Yeah.
But when you're fishing those muddy water situations, I want something that they can feel from the other side of the cove, and they want to check it out. So
yeah, Ron says send me 2 because I will break one. And what he means is that spinnerbait that we were talking about that I caught so many big bass on is no longer around. I broke it in half, and I was fishing a tournament with Ron.
Okay.
And I knew it had to be reaching its limit, but it still seemed okay.
Bending back.
Yeah, you can only bend it so many times and it'll break. Yeah. And I cast and I hit a tree. And as soon as I hit a tree, it just busted apart.
Oh, no.
Which, if it was going to bust apart, that was the way.
Yeah, it should have. Yeah,
happened. Not in the mouth of a big fish.
No.
I like Darius's comment there. Like a 1 ounce single 8 with a white glow blade.
Yeah. White glow blade.
Yeah, like a glow,
like a painted blade.
Just a white painted blade.
Yeah. I think I can do that.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah. I paint all my heads, pour my heads, lead, and the skirts. Actually, my wife ties my skirts hand tied on there. She hand ties every single lure that I make, so she's pretty good at it.
So it's got a wire tie on there?
No, it's tied it with thread. Thread, yeah.
Thread. Okay.
Thread. Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that a gammy on there?
What is it?
A Gamakatsu on there?
No, it's the owner.
Okay.
Yeah, owner hook.
Okay.
I think a lot of companies use this hook. It's pretty strong. I never had any problems on it. It's that some kind of double cone tip on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a 3/0 or 4/0?
This is a 3/0.
3/0.
3/0. Yeah.
I like you like the bigger the hook, the
the
better.
bigger the better.
You know what? On a spinnerbait, a 3/0 hooks.
It's
works
not bad.
fine.
It's not bad.
Fine. I think it does a good
I don't
job.
have many options on a spinnerbait because I don't make my own spinnerbaits. So I make my own
Actually-
jigs.
Actually, when I design a jig head, this is a material that I use called design wood. It's a soft and light. It's used for designing things, and it's so light that you can't image the weight that the lure comes into after you pour it. But I use all my designing for jig heads with this material. And if you get used to it, you can actually image the weight that you want this jig head to come out to. So I hand carve this every single time.
It's wood.
It's design wood. It's some kind of a plastic mixed in with wood kind of material. It's a chemical. It's a chemical. It's made like this. Yeah, it comes in blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you design your molds.
This is going to be the one that you take the molds off of this.
Now, do you make your own mold then?
Yeah, I do my own molds.
Okay.
I make them out of silicone. Let me grab one.
I think that's a Sasquatch right there.
That is
That's a Sasquatch.
from back here, and me
Yeah.
being half blind, that is a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But June, I would say it's probably not a Sasquatch.
Okay, hold on. Let me do the single. Okay.
Yeah. This is
Okay,
the
that's your
Franken.
mold.
Yeah, and it's in 2 pieces, and this one has the points in it.
Yeah.
And you just stick it together, and this is where you
That's
pour the water in.
silicone.
That's silicone. Yeah,
Is that hard silicone?
it's hard silicone. It's heat resistant silicone.
Okay, I was gonna say I was gonna wonder how you pour your lead in there.
Yeah. That's
But-
why it's so. This red color is the heat resistant silicone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
That's
the
not
lot? Now, do you pour every one of those Franken's heads
I do.
yourself?
I do.
Holy cow!
I do. That's my. That's what I want to do.
That's
I don't want
awesome, though.
I don't want it to be mass production, at a factory or something. But the weights that I had made, or actually made in China. So you can't make the tungsten weights in Japan. So you have to have them made in China. So I just design the weights, and I give it to a company in China, and they made it for me. And they send it over here, and we package them and we send them out. But the rest of the baits, most of the baits that I make, I make the molds. And to make the molds, you have to design this. So yeah.
So
I use
design wood is what that's called.
design wood, chemical design wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ron
I
says as soon as you get your site up and running, you have a new customer.
Okay, thank you.
Probably
That's
multiple after tonight.
That's what I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. Thank you. I keep everything made here. Almost 70 to 65% of the lures that I make them almost like handmade by myself. So, by myself, but my wife helps me out too. So, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Are there any restrictions on women fishing tournaments in Japan?
No, there's not. Nothing. There's no restrictions at all. No, there used to be a couple of ladies fishing the tournaments over here, but because it's so hard, physical wise, they quit after a couple of years. So there's nobody fishing the tournaments over here in Japan, lady wise, women wise, they don't hardly anybody fish. The private tournaments, like we have on Lake Biwa, they fish for fun. Yeah. or they go with their, husbands and things like that. Yeah.
So do you
Now,
what's the coldest water temps that you experience over there? Does that lake ever freeze up, or do lakes freeze
no,
up?
it doesn't freeze up. No, it never
Okay.
freezes up. Yeah. You want me to Google it?
I was just curious because I mean
Yeah.
you said you have a winter, but I didn't know if it gets so cold that it freezes up. I mean, that's a big lake. Like
Can I Google
Ron
it?
that's on here, Ron fishes Mille Lacs, and Mille Lacs is huge.
Yeah.
It freezes up.
It freezes, right?
Yeah, it does freeze.
I can Google it in Japanese and English. let me Google it.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys out there on the stream, if you have any questions for June, get them in here. We've been on here for quite a while. It's been
40度。英語では Isn't it weird me talking Japanese?
It's amazing that you can just switch back and forth like that.
I'm getting used to it now. I'm not thinking in Japanese right now. Oh, he won't tell me.
She's being stubborn.
Yeah, really stubborn. They used to come out. They should come out pretty fast. I don't know why they're not coming out.
Here's a good question.
What is it?
This is from Joshua Harris. What is the lowest water temps that you will throw those big swim baits?
I actually throw them in the wintertime. So the colder it gets, the better it gets.
Really?
Yeah.
So 40-degree water temps, 45?
I think a little bit more colder.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah,
They will actually come to the surface and eat it.
that's exciting. Because our water temps are about 48 right now, and they get down to high 30s.
Okay. I think it'll still work.
Okay.
Wow.
Last year on my YouTube channel, I have a video that's about an hour and 30 minutes long. And on that video, I didn't catch a single fish. And I called it the Giant Bait Eaters series. And I went out on a lake without any kind of information at all. And I went on a northern part of the lake. And I set up 3 GoPros. And I started hitting all kinds of, structure, and all of a sudden I came to one spot and I cast it out there and I started my retrieve. And it was about, let's see, 16 feet depth wise.
Okay.
And I started my retrieve. And soon as I started to see my bait, I looked behind it and there was 3 or 4 over 10-pound fish following that bait. It was crazy. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And at that same spot, after that I had about 3 more follows. So that was a good spot. So the colder it gets, I think they want to eat, big. I think they want to eat bigger baits in the one time. So that's why they follow it. Ooh, scared me.
So what do you do? Go ahead.
No, that's the guy who just called me that was sending lures to that store in the States.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
That's funny. We were just talking about it.
Yeah, it scared me. He doesn't know I'm alive.
What do you do? Can you do anything when a fish is following that bait, like that glide bait? Or that?
Like I told you, I actually almost caught all my fish when doing the dog walk under the water with a glide bait, not retrieving, giving it a small, pause twitch, and it moves the head side to side like this. They bite it when I'm doing that kind of action. Or like I told you, when you have a bass, following that bait, you do that small twitch, under, and it does that jet coast turn, it goes deeper.
Mhm.
That gives that bass a chance to bite the bait. So there's a couple things you can do, but the most efficient way to catch a bass on these kind of baits is to stop the bait. I don't know why, but in the colder water, they like the bait when it stops. And when it stops, they go to the bait so fast, like this. And they watch it about a couple of inches close to the bait. And they bite it. If they don't bite it, and you can see some kind of movement to the bass where they want to go away or something, that's when you give it a small twitch or something. And they do a reaction bite or something. Yeah. But to stop it is a really good technique. I don't think
JP, he's talking about the triple deluxe. That's what we're discussing. You have show him that swim bait one more time, the triple deluxe.
This one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple deluxe. Yeah.
That's the swim bait we're talking about. So that's a good cold water swim bait.
So which do you prefer, June, the triple deluxe or the pinky?
I like the triple better. Yeah. Tell you the truth, this was the first ABS hard lure that I designed on my brand. And everybody was saying, "Are you okay? Are you out of your mind?" Most of the companies, when they design it, if this is their first bait, they'll go to, a smaller bait, maybe a smaller crankbait or something, right? But this was the first bait that I designed with a, ABS lure, hard bait lure on my brand. So everybody was, surprised. And I have more confidence in the bigger bait than the smaller bait. And tell you the truth, that when I came out with the Pinky Deluxe, it was hard for me to catch a bass on the Pinky Deluxe. And after I sold it for a year, I never caught one fish. I couldn't catch a fish on the Pinky Deluxe for a whole year. Even when it was a prototype, I couldn't catch a fish. But the action was great. You can do all kinds of things to it. And I never had a bunch of fish follow it and things like that. And all of a sudden, what I did was I accidentally put some weights on the bottom like this, so it would slow sink. And after I put this weight on the bottom and I started my regular retrieve, the bass would come after this like crazy. I don't know what's causing it, but this weight made a real difference. Yeah. So when I'm simply retrieving it, I always have these weights on the bottom because it's a floating bait. And more weight you give it to it, I think it has good, action to it. Yeah. But, in order to use it as a crankbait, you have to keep this as a, floating bait. So, yeah, it's pretty difficult, But, if you can put your weight on the bottom like this, it's a weight that you can buy over here in Japan that has double side tape on it.
We have that here.
You have it over here? You have it over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in a big chunk like this, and you can cut it any way you want. Yeah.
Yep.
Be like golf tape or something.
It's for golf.
Yeah, it's like golf tape. Yeah. Yep. As soon as I put this weight on there, I was catching fish like crazy this summer.
I keep a roll of it in my boat all the time. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Just that one little change made all the difference.
Yeah, it changed my fishing life. I was so worried. I came out with this bait, but I can't catch a fish on this bait. What's going wrong? I'm the designer and I'm the producer of this lure, but I'm not catching any fish on this thing.
Yeah.
But, the people around me who was using it, they were catching fish for me. So as soon as I made this, slight change, it it changed the difference. Made a difference to it. Yeah.
Do you know what a dead walk is? It says, can you do a dead walk on your lipped swim bait?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think they're saying the side to side action. A lot of people when they do big baits, they turn it with their handle like this, a single turn. Small turns like this, and I use the rod to make the bait walk side to side, but a lot of people when they're swim baiters, they do the reeling action like this.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it with the rods. Yeah. I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
That way your rod's always in the best position to set the hook, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't think he was talking about dead sticking. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a rod yet that
For
can
the
handle.
5-ounce
I got
bait?
one that I can throw 3-ounce baits with.
Oh, so you can throw the Pinky Deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah, I can throw the pinky. And what'd you say the triple is? 7 ounces?
It's 5 ounces.
5 ounces. Okay.
I would throw it on my punch rod.
I can throw it on my punch rod.
Yeah, I think you can throw it on a punch rod. Yeah. No problem.
I would. I got a 7. It's a 711, but it's.
Oh, that's not you can use it on that. Yeah, 711 is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can lob it too.
Lob it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not whipping it and firing it out there with the.
I just go with it. Chunk it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, Whitewell says he says he will be keeping an eye out on your Facebook page. Looking forward to grabbing some baits from your web store in the future. And then looks like I would just have to check out Carolina Tackle for now.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I wish Carolina Tackle's watching this live YouTube.
Maybe that's why he's trying to call you.
We'll have to share it with you.
Might be, yeah. We gotta do this. We gotta do this a couple times.
We should,
For sure.
Yeah. Maybe do this once or twice a year.
That way we don't have to do almost a 3-hour live stream.
Yeah.
A lot of good information.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah. I think I can talk all day.
I know. I like talking fishing too. We get on these live streams and you don't realize how long you've been talking, and especially when it's going really good like this.
Yeah. Just call me up anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll shut this down then. It's been great talking to you. Appreciate you spending your morning with us.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Get into lunchtime now.
Now you have to go back to work.
Yeah, I gotta go buy lunch. Yeah. I haven't ate yet, so I'm gonna go to lunch.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody at home for checking out the live stream. Lots of good, valuable, big swim bait information and Japanese culture and a little bit of everything. So
I got this. We have to do this again because I still got 20 questions that we didn't get to.
Yeah. That's fun.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
We'll
see you guys next
Monday. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Okay.